Hey guys, TJ here with American Renovation. In today's segment, we're covering laminate floor installation. First item we want to do is put this underlayment on the floor. Once we get that on there, we're going to start installing this laminate flooring itself. One of the most important items for this is reading the instructions. Each laminate product has different spacer requirements for expansion joints. Where's the expansion joint? The expansion joint is where the flooring meets the wall. And the reason is, during the year, temperature is going to make this product expand and contract. So we've covered in different episodes where the floor has buckled, and this expansion joint is going to prevent that. And you don't want that phone call back. So let's get down to installation. I just finished cutting this on the table saw. This is going to be my spacer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just place it here once I put the flooring down, and that's going to give me my expansion joint. One of the items I forgot to mention is that this flooring that you're going to be using, you want to make sure it's in the room that the flooring is going to be installed. That's to acclimate the wood to the area where it's going to be installed, and so that the temperature, humidity is consistent, and this is going to allow the flooring product to acclimate to the room. And that's important. Usually we do that for about 48 to 72 hours. First step is to put the vapor barrier down. If I'm doing it alone, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put some weight on one end. This allows me to roll this out by myself and to go ahead and get it pretty squared up with the room. I'm going to go ahead and cut this side right now. Alright, I got the first line cut, set in place. Now if you take a look at this, you're going to notice that there's a piece of plastic right here, and this right here is a double-sided tape. And what you're going to do is you're going to set your next row so that it meets up with the foam, so you're overlapping it from the plastic set. And then before you go ahead and start running it out and sticking it onto each other, roll this all the way out. And get back to this side, and let's go ahead and open up this cover. I'm going to bring a line right to it and work it all the way down. So let's see. All right, now that the vapor barrier is down, next step is to start the flooring, and that's where our spacers will start to go in place. And these spacers only need to go where the joints are. So we'll just put them in place for now. And now we'll start our flooring. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I end up with a full plank at the entrance or somewhere near it. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and measure from the door threshold to this wall. It reads 207. The next step I want to do is measure the plank itself. it reads about 5 3/4 of an inch. So what I do is I put in 207 and I divide it by 5 3/4. And I'm gonna get, it actually comes out to an even number, telling me there's gonna be about 36 planks going in this direction before it meets that door. And it's gonna come up fairly as a whole plank, and that's what I want. Now, if the number was off, what I would do is I would adjust it so that my cut plank would be on this side, and I would end up with a full plank at the entrance. That's ideal for any flooring, to walk in with a full plank rather than a sliver at the entrance. Quick recap, this white stuff right here is the vapor barrier. The point of using a vapor barrier is to stop the moisture coming from the concrete and touching the flooring. That's all. I just cut a piece. What I did is I have my spacers on the back wall, spacers on each side. That's for my expansion gap. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and measure. I'm reading about 36 3/8. I cut this guy to 36 3/8. I'm gonna bring up the board and work its way down. It's important to line up the flooring at the very beginning so that it's not all over the place, and it helps line up the next row fairly easy as well. Our expansion gap. Make sure we're up against the wall. And if you take a look at it, at this wall, you're gonna notice there's a curvature also with the wall, but that's okay. What you wanna focus on is to make sure that the wood, the flooring, is touching the ends of the spacers, even though in some areas the gap's going to be bigger. That's all right. As you can see here, we got almost a 3/16 extra gap, but we're tight in this corner, tight in that corner. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start our next row. 36. I know this side is going to be my run side, so I want to cut off the butt end side. So I got it marked. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. I'm gonna save this piece for later. I'm gonna come over here. I'm going to bring this up so all the ends are in. And then I'm gonna just let it sit down by itself, and at this point it's locked. Next piece, and go ahead and start it again. I'm gonna get both ends started. As you can see, I'm tight over here, so I'm gonna continue to run. It's locking in. And I'm going to come down. Now use a mallet and take a look at this gap right here. This gap is telling me that this is slightly out of square. So I'm going to eventually fix that and bring it back this way. And usually I can just hit it with the rubber mallet and it should bring it back towards me. Grab my tape measure, run it. It's saying 48 inches. that should work out with a full one. Let me take a look. And it's gonna come up just shy, so we can't use this. So what we have to do is readjust the first one and bring it over, because we're gonna end up with a sliver. All right. Pull this guy out. We want to be careful because this one's already snapped in place. It might break off. Let's see if we're going to be able to get it out. If not, let's just take it as a whole. So I know I'm short over there. I'm going to cut it back another 12 inches. I know this is 12. Let's line it up roughly. Let's cut this guy. Grab my rubber mallet. Alright, put my next row down. And again, start it off. You're going to want to raise this side just slightly. I'm going to get this side in, looks pretty good. And then just start putting it back down. Rubber mallet. I'm pretty much done with the flooring in the bedroom. I want to get into the closet, but now I'm working in the opposite direction that I started from when I started the flooring. From the bedroom, I was going from left to right, and at this point, because we're getting into the closet, we got to go right to left. So one of the key aspects about flooring is this groove right here is designed so that a tongue can go into it. And if you want to do this, you're going to have to work backwards at this stage. This requires a little bit more skill than your typical installation of a floor that's just square. This step right here I'm going to introduce is going to show you how we do it when we're trying to go in the opposite direction. I've got 2 pieces of board that I'm going to use to push out my piece that's going to actually eventually go into where they are. I've already measured the distance of the gap that I need. I know that my sequence shows that I have a 3.5 inch gap here for my small piece, which is this guy right here. He's going to go in right there. So I've got that gap, I've lined it up, I've measured this line, that's going to give me that expansion gap. I've measured underneath, and I've already marked it in place right over here. And I've marked out the line over here, and I've measured the distance from the wall on both sides. I've marked it on this side and that side. I'm going to go ahead and connect these 2 lines, cut this, and this should go in like a glove. All right, take a look at the piece I just finished cutting. As you can see, this right here is our jamb. The flooring is right underneath this jamb, and that's important. Most people who aren't skilled in the trade, what they do is they leave this kind of gap right in front, and it almost looks like this when you see it, and they end up filling it in with some caulking. That's a no-no. What we want to do is make it look like this so it's running consistently underneath it. I want to get this piece in place, but this jamb right here is obstructing me from lifting the piece that I got cut into the place. So what do? I'm gonna use a piece of 1x that I've already cut, this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right underneath. I'm gonna place my foot on this, just like so. I'm gonna use a beater block and take a look at this gap as it shrinks. All the way down. And that's how you lock it in place. There's no damage. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this guy out and make sure that there's no gaps that I need to fix. And at this point, we're ready to restart the closet and it's ready to go. Our main pattern out in the main bedroom is a pyramid style that is 12 inches. Because I'm coming into the closet doesn't mean I gotta get rid of that pyramid style. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up to the seam, take away the 12 inch to make sure that I'm still on that same staggered seam. So take a look at this. That's reading about 32 1/8. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that from this lip and mark it right here. I'll cut that. That'll continue my pyramid scheme. That gap right there is a key component of vinyl installation. You don't want this floor to buckle, so that's going to help it from expanding and contracting so it doesn't touch the walls. The next step is for me to put the trim around the doors, the trim on the base molding, and then go ahead and paint and caulk it. At that point, this project's going to be complete. The flooring is all done. We put this base molding in, hiding that expansion gap, had it painted. The customer's happy, I'm happy. Until next time, happy renovation.